Might you be the mystery author Kana Hatsuse? Don't go to the estate, someone's gonna get killed! Huh, what was that? What happened? I don't know, but something bumped into me. Don't mind that, just keep going. It was the dead body. Oh, something just bumped me. Oh, don't worry, that's just the dead body I hang from the rafters. Excuse me? And like a trick from a ninja's hideout, the wall rotates. I never imagined there would be a hidden door here. The door at the mirror was a total red herring. Kana Yago? I've never heard of a god by that name. That's because it's not featured in the ancient text, but it's a very scary god. Yes, a very scary god. Oh god, we're already starting? Investigation started. Alright. Well, I mean, I did kind of call it. I was like, well, is Kana gonna die? So, and then the reappearance of her at the party, I was like, oh man, well, I guess it can't be Kana. Maybe Kana will kill someone. So they kind of did throw me a loop there, but I did originally predict that Kana was gonna die. And yeah, I mean, there was no way we were going to a mystery novel author's estate that has a bunch of weird ass like tunnels and contraptions and secrets, not to find a dead body and solve a murder mystery. So I'm just saying, no. Oh, you know how it is, baby. All right. So let us begin with this side. Here we go. Let's start from left and go to right. That tree. There are some fresh marks around the bark of the tree trunk. It's like something was rubbed against it, but it cut pretty deep into the trunk. I just noticed she has blood on her fingertips. What is this? I don't know, but something feels off. Examine it closer. The scratches on this tree trunk. Are they related to the murder? This doesn't look like some kind of mark. The forest management etched on it. Hiroko had sunk to the ground, as in looking at Kana's body in a daze. Even in the darkness of the night, Ryo could tell her otherwise still form was shivering even now and then. Is that it? Sunk to the ground, even now and then. Okay. She's got blood on her fingertips, I can see that. Ryo strains her eyes, looking at the dead body's limp arms. It's hard to tell over the manicure, but there's some blood stuck behind her nails. Was this when she was trying to fight off the killer? Or maybe... All the blood seemed to have drained from the body's arms, leaving the skin pale and transparent. Perhaps because of the flashlight's illumination, her skin seemed awfully white within that circle of light. Ryo's gazes at the corpse's head, wincing at the sight of its agonizing expression. Withstanding the urge to throw up, she gently... Why is it different now? Like, you witnessed 2 other dead bodies in the damn fucking other case. Why is this so different? I mean, I guess she's a little bit more mangled. I mean, Seiji just got shot in the back, and Kosaku just literally drove into the wharf and drowned. So, or I guess had a seizure and had a heart attack and then drowned. Withstanding the urge to throw up, she gently inspects the body from below, discovering some scars and lacerations on the back of her neck. Those are rope marks. Someone strangled her. The lacerations are probably because she clawed at her throat while she was suffocating. As far as I can see, someone strangled Miss Kana. That's all I can tell so far. Ryo is convinced for the time being and moves away from the body. It's then that the sound of the patrol car's siren reaches her ears. Oh, but I didn't examine the bush. Damn it. I guess it wasn't important. Whatever else was the thing was not important. Manabe? Manabe! Listen to me, Manabe! Manabe's eyes widen as Rio shakes her shoulders. Manabe! Are you alright? It looked like you had a nightmare. Manabe feels Rio's concerned eyes on her. Guided by that gaze, Manabe raises from her bed. Oh, it's morning. Yeah, you were moaning back there, so I was worried. I just had a bit of a bad dream. I'm fine now. Yeah, that's good. After a while, Manabe washes her face and fixes her clothes, going back to her normal, snappy self. All right, we're looking good. Let's go. Some people from the police showed up earlier and said everyone needs to gather in the parlor. Right, the police. So what happened last night wasn't a dream. Yeah, having that happen to someone you care about so much must be terrible. I'll be fine. I was a big fan of Miss Kana, that's true, but before that, I'm your manager. Smiling back at Manabe, she regained her calm manners demeanor. Rio leaves the room with her. Aww. My best friendo! You know, it's been a while. I haven't taken a moment. There's something I wanted to check. Okay, so we'll read all the other characters, but first and foremost, I want to get a good gaze. So this is Manabe. This is her character model. Now notice she's not wearing the glasses, so I don't know. It might be some kind of continuity error, but she does have the necklace on. So you see that. Now scroll over to Akari. You see how they look relatively similar? I mean, obviously Manabe could just do her hair up in a different style and it would match. But I mean, they have the same hair color and the same eye color. Like, I don't know. Like, I know I'm overthinking things, but they just seem like the same person to me. But I guess now that I think about it, well, I don't know. I just wonder if it had something relating to it. It might just be some kind of continuity error or something. I don't know. Anywho, yeah, we read. Okay, here we are. See, but, okay, and then in her character profile, it's Hatsuse, not Utsuse. So I really don't know what the hell's going on with it. There's a lot of, like, errors, I think, in the typing and making of this game. I mean, I'm not going to hold it against them, but I'm just saying, like, I think for purposes, you should at least get the character names right. Like, how am I supposed to know? How am I supposed to know that Kana doesn't have, like, an evil twin sister that's, like, actually been murdered or something? You know what I mean? Well, then they would have the same last name. That's true. I don't know, but you get my point. Like, switching up a character's name doesn't make sense to me. So it's like, I guess they couldn't make up their mind while making the game. So they went like, oh, it's Utsuse now, not Hatsuse. I don't know, whatever. Kana Hatsuse. Renowned writer famous for her light mystery series Longitudinal Logic. Popular for its unique characters and unique tricks. She lies showy and new She likes showy and new things. She occasionally gets offbeat ideas and goes wild with them, which seems to be the result of her authorial instincts to seek inspiration for her books. Soichi Hatsuse. Kana Hatsuse's younger brother, an artist with a shut-in disposition. He hates communicating with people and rarely leaves his room. As a result, he doesn't work. But Kana has him live in Kosakan. Hiroko Mizukami, Kana Hatsuse's secretary who lives in Kisokan and manages almost all of Kana's life. She can be quite meddlesome and has known Kana since high school, where they were both members of the literary club. They wanted to become mystery novel authors together. Joji Kono, a chef who's known Kana Hatsuse. He's a smooth talker who seems quite shallow, but his cooking skill is top-notch. Kana is a regular customer of his, and so he was called all the way from Tokyo, from his restaurant Tokyo, to cater for her birthday party. Ryogo Ezuno, Kana Hatsuse's editor who works for a publisher. He always worries that Kana won't meet her deadlines, but due to his timid nature, he can never put his foot down about the issue. He has apparently come all the way from Tokyo to Kisukan in order to work out the plot of her next title. Shino Tomizawa, a dignified veteran author who has begun in business longer than Kana Hatsuse. While her works may not sell as much as Kana's, they are apparently well received by mystery connoisseurs. While she has not got the composure of a veteran, she's apparently bothered by the difference in sales and familiarity between Kana and herself. That was a lot of characters. It's been a minute since I went through that, but that's pretty much everyone that we've met in this chapter so far, so... Damn, they had to kill the baddie. They had to kill the baddie, man? Sure, of course they did. But who knows, she may be one of those like, I'm not an innocent party, actually. I cheated on my husband and killed 3 people. Excuse me, what? Alright. All bubble-blowing babies must be beaten senseless by every able body present in the parlor. Shit, I fucked it up. Let me try that again. All bubble-blowing babies must be beaten senseless by every able body present in the parlor. There we go, that was a better one. Hey! We got a rule around here! Alright. Apparently Rio and Manabe were the last ones arrived. The other guests were already gathered in the parlor, where the party was held in. Everyone was visibly anxious. Several officers and a detective enter the room. Oh, dude, it's Mamba. Duty's back. Detective enter the room, as if they had been waiting for them to arrive. The moment she sees the detective's faces, Rio exclaims with surprise. Huh? Inspector Mamba, is that you? Oh, you're Rio. And Miss Manabe, too. What are you doing here? We met Miss Kana by coincidence yesterday, and she invited us over. I see. Even if it was a coincidence, you two have a knack for getting caught up in these kinds of situations. But we can talk about that later. I have to get to work for now. Right. Mamba's expression hardens as he turns his face to the guests. Yes, I'm Toshiro Mamba, from the Metropolitan Police Public Security Bureau. I will be in charge of investigating the incident. Are all the people involved here? Everyone looks at each other, prompted by the question. Hiroko then raises her voice nervously. Sochi isn't here yet. I did tell him to come, but... Sochi? Sochi, who was that again? Who was that again? Oh, the victim's younger brother, yes. Mamba speaks with while flipping through his memo pad, and Hiroko nods in affirmation. Well, we'll speak to him separately later, anyway. For now, the victim's cause of death is clear. Asphyxiation due to suffocation. The estimated time of death is late last night, around 22, which would be 10 o'clock, right? Around 10 o'clock. Suffocation? I could just say 2200 hours. At 2200. Something about Mamba said came across as odd to Rio. He should have seen the rope marks too. So why did he call it suffocation instead of strangulation? But while Rio's mind was churning, Mamba kept on speaking. Yes, so with that in mind, so as hard as it is to say this, all of you here were in the estate yesterday are currently suspects. Only potential suspects, of course. But we ask for your cooperation with the investigation going forward. And also, please refrain from going out until you have our permission to do so. Everyone started murmuring at Mamba's words. No, I have to be back in Tokyo as soon as possible. That's right, I need to get back to my writing or I might miss my deadline. And I have my store to attend to. Silence, please. Silence, everyone. We intend to conclude this investigation and lift your restrictions as fast as possible, so please, cooperate with us. I believe I'll be calling you all personally later, so please keep what I said in mind. Wait just a minute! After relaying all the necessary information, Mamba exits the parlor hurriedly. Left in his wake are everyone else, filled with anxiety and displeasure. Well, you know, Manabe, you really are attractive. Not gonna lie, you definitely got the nice looks. I love the glasses, you know, and I love the respectable. She says it's casual, but like I don't know. She's got a nice jacket and some designer pants on. Like she's looking pretty looking pretty slick, not gonna lie. I know I've probably said that before, but just I don't know. I like when she faces like the camera and like looks towards this way, you know, because you get to actually like really see her features. She really is a baddie. She's a baddie, dog. I gotta say, she is a freaking baddie. I would bark for her. I'm not gonna lie. Not that I'm into that kind of stuff. I'm not into like the step on me stuff, but I could bark once or twice for her. I'm just saying. Anywho, enough of that. I need to stop with that. I need to quit it with the pervy stuff. Manabe. Oh, Manabe. Didn't what Mamba said back there feel off to you? What do you mean? I saw rope marks on the corpse when I checked it yesterday. That means Kana was strangled by some kind of wire or rope. But he said a suffocation. Normally you'd assume he'd call it strangulation or suicide by hanging. Right, that's what felt off to me. We should ask Mamba about it later. Yeah, let's do that. My word, why do we have to be confined in this place? This is absurd. I agree, especially since the estimated time of death was 2200. We were still all at the party at the time. So maybe it wasn't done by any of us. Perhaps Miss Kana wandered outside and was accosted by a burglar? I don't know about that. I can't imagine someone just passed by and did the act. What do you mean? I mean, this is a remote place, and it was nighttime without any illumination outside. Can you imagine someone just walking in here? I suppose that's true. It seems much more likely that one of us snuck out of the parlor and did the deed. And I do believe all of us left the restroom for a few minutes at one point or another. But this is absurd! None of us have any reason to kill Miss Kana. Who's to say, for example, you always seem so neurotic, as if Kana always throttled you with your frivolous attitude. A grudge, perhaps? What are you saying? If anyone's suspicious, it'd be you. Yes, what about me? You'd be envious of Miss Kana, who eclipsed you in both sales and reviews despite being younger. How rude! Calm down, you two. Suspecting each other now wouldn't do us any good. Mr. Ezino, I do believe you went too far. You were the same age and as profession as her, Miss Hiroko, and with Miss Kana dead, the copyrights will be transferred to you. I would never kill Miss Kana for something like that. I wonder. Rio watches over the unsightly exchange from a distance and sighs. Staying away was a good idea. Saved us the trouble of getting caught up in that. It really did. The anxiety must be making them act like that. So, what do we do? You recorded the party yesterday, right, Manabe? Yes, I thought it might be nice to commemorate it. I left it running on the shelf, though, so it only has the footage of one point. Well, that could be useful. Let's check it out. The estimated time of death was 10 o'clock, so let's confirm who excused themselves at that time. Yes, I see. Yes, I understand. Alright, let's go back to our room then. Having returned to the room, the two immediately play the video. The estimated time of death was 10 o'clock, so let's check the footage just before the time after that. Let me get the hour of footage, then... It's long, so I'll fast forward through it 3 times speed. Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, she was... Wait, she was there at... well, I'm assuming this is playing at like 10 o'clock, right? So we're all here, though. That doesn't make sense, right? Or is this like just being played from the beginning? Sochi. He left as soon as Miss Kana did the toast. He is Miss Kana's younger brother. They said he's an artist who's very bad with people. I suppose he didn't want to be a part of a part of the party. Even, wait, I suppose he didn't want to be a part of, I'm assuming even an event like this. A part of even event, I guess that makes sense, part of even event like this. But we had the toast at, what would that be, 8:30? We had the toast at 8:30, so he has no alibi for Miss Kana's estimated time of death. I suppose that's what it means, but Kana was his sister, and she supported him even when he couldn't make a living. I suppose that's true, but we can't make assumptions about him when we haven't even spoken to him once. Maybe he had a complex over how successful his sister was. Talking about hypotheticals won't get us anywhere. We should talk to him later. Right, let's do that. Tomisawa left the room a few times. She left once after Miss Kana went out, too. She left 4 times or so, but all of them were only for a few minutes, so she probably went to the bathroom, or to fix her makeup. Yeah, I can't imagine she murdered someone in just a couple of minutes. Well, you wouldn't normally assume that's possible. So Izono is Miss Kana's editor, right? Apparently, but I think seeing the author he's in charge of dying was a huge shock. I wouldn't be able to take it. What? Why are you staring at me? I just thought, wow, she really loves me, huh? Manabe cocks her head quizzically, unable to understand what Rio was getting at. But upon having come to the conclusion, Manabe's face flushes red. What? No, I didn't mean it like that. I guess we'll leave it at that. Hey! Anyway, it looks like this Izono didn't leave the party even once. Apparently he didn't even go to the bathroom. Okay, so it's hard to believe he did it unless he had some kind of contraption. Well, he hardly got anything to drink. Well, I guess he abstained from drinking since he had a meeting scheduled after the party. Right, being an editor sounds tough. So it's less likely that he did anything. But here's the thing. Let's not assume that she, because again, every murder had some kind of a contraption involved. Like Kuromochi's case, it was a contraption. Now, I guess the Kotoshiro family case, contraption was used. Now, granted, Kosaku just died of natural causes. I mean, he just had a heart attack and drove into the wharf. So, Seji's death to Kotoshiro, that was a contraption. So, just because someone doesn't leave the party or leaves the party or doesn't leave the party doesn't mean we can assume that they're cleared or guilty. Personally. And actually, the way this game has been laid out so far with everything being contraption based, it's making me think that people who didn't leave the party ever are the most suspicious. I mean, seriously, you didn't have to pee once. Now, granted, I don't have a kitten bladder, so, I mean, I can go 8-hour, 10-hour periods without having to go to the bathroom. Like, sometimes I only go to the bathroom, like, once a day, which is pretty absurd, I know, and that's probably not healthy. I mean, you probably should at least tinkle twice, right? But pooping once a day is satisfactory. But I'm just saying, like, some people have strong bladders, so I wouldn't be surprised if he truly just didn't need to go to the bathroom or just didn't do anything. But I just don't want to rule them out. Just because they don't leave the party doesn't mean they're not a culprit. So, because as prior cases with the whole contraption thing, he could very well be at the party, hit a button, and then she gets, like, strangled by a rope or something. I don't know. Or maybe she was killed long before that and her body was just set up in the woods or something. But it's highly likely because I'm already starting to think that the blood on her fingertip, I think the scratches on the tree were her fingernails, I want to say. Like, she caught, like, she was trying to claw away at, like, whoever was chasing her or whatnot. Maybe. I don't know. Trying to get away, and she ended up, like, getting her fingernails bled. It's hard to believe that, like, trying to scratch at a rope, you would, I guess, well, I guess it depends on the rope, and I guess if it was a wire, it could cause her fingers to bleed if she was trying to, like, grip it and, like, strangle it, like, struggle with it, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. We just need more clues, but I'm just gathering right now that even if someone didn't leave the party, that doesn't mean we can assume that they didn't do this. We have to assume everyone at this party could be guilty. I mean, shoot, we can even say Kana was... This could very well just be suicide, too, and just made to look like some kind of murder mystery. I don't know. I don't think they would do something like that, but I gotta believe there's some kind of, like, murderous intent. Kana was the one that left the room the most often, but that makes sense, since he was setting up the table. Right. Whenever he came back, he was pushing the trolley with the dishes, so it's safe to assume that he was preparing it when he was out of the room. So Kana left at about, what would that be, 9:30? 9:30. And she didn't come back after that. Yes, she told us about Kana Yago and left the parlor while we were checking the trolley. We went out to look for Miss Kana and found her body at around 11 o'clock. What exactly happened in that time frame? What was Miss Kana even doing there? It's like Tomizawa said, it was a nightmare and without any lights. Oh, it was nighttime and without any lights. Why go there without a flashlight? Well, even without a flashlight, she could use her cell phone for light, but that doesn't explain what she was doing there. The footage shows that Hiroko left the party once. After Miss Kana left, Hiroko went out for 15 minutes. Maybe she went to check on her because she was gone for so long. That seems likely, but after coming back, she hadn't left the room until the party broke up. Okay, so almost everyone had times when they were out of the parlor, but it was always 15 minutes at most. And to get from here to the hollow Kana died in, I think you'd have to walk for about 20 minutes, maybe 10 if you ran. In other words, none of the people in the estate could have killed Kana. I'd like to say that, but the only exception is Sochi. Oh, right, Sochi left early, but there's another possibility. What other possibility? Well, it's possible someone could have killed Kana after she left the parlor, and then carried her over to the hollow. We only went out to look for her an hour after the party ended. That's plenty of... see, okay, I could clearly see, yeah, they missed an A on that, that's, okay? Alright, I hate to be the one to point out all the typos, but, like, I need to make sure that everyone else can confirm that I'm not crazy. Like, there is typos in this game. That's plenty of time to carry her corpse over there. I see. But you know carrying a dead body that far is pretty hard labor. We didn't hear any cars, so it's likely they took her there that way. Maybe a bicycle towing cart or a trailer? Those aren't suited for carrying a body. But there is another option. There is? What? Tell me. I mean... maybe the god Kano Yago snatched the body away. What? Cut it out! No scary stories! But it does fit the story about Kano Yago perfectly. And the hollow we found her in is the entrance to the mine it's related to. And we heard that growling and howling last night. Nope, that's a big no. Anything that looks supernatural at first sight always has to have a rational explanation. Right. I guess I'm just still a little shocked. Now I'm starting to have weird delusions. You know what'll clear those right up? Investigating the hell out of this case. A huge fan like you should avenge Kana's death. Right. Yes, you're right. Let's go. With Rio to cheer her on, Manabe leaves the room. Just Manabe? Rio's just still behind. She's left behind. Alright. I thought this is where I saved. I guess the game wanted to, like, make sure that I had the other shit done. But I'm pretty sure this is where we were. Did I read all the character introductions? All bubble-blowing babies must be beaten senseless by every able body present in the parlor. Alright. I guess we should start with the parlor, because that's where everyone is, and we can talk to Mamba. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mamba number 5. Entering the parlor, they find Kano wiping a table with an exhausted expression. Just how did it come to this? Have you known Miss Kana long, Kano? She's been supportive of my cooking for a long time, and when I opened my business, she offered financial aid. Oh, yes, your cooking yesterday was quite delicious. Miss Kana had first-rate taste in cuisine as well. Yes. I'm sorry, but can I ask you to become part of that financial aid she gave you? The police just asked me about the same thing. Thankfully, my business is doing quite well, and I've long since repaid the money she lent me. I understood. I'm sorry. That was a rude thing to ask. It looks like he doesn't have any motive for killing Miss Kana. Oh, okay. So we were wondering if, whatchamacallit? Is that everything we can do in the parlor, though? Alright. I guess, I mean, we're gonna just keep trying the parlor. I don't know. It doesn't seem like there... I feel like we should be getting a clue. Like, usually, in an area, you should at least obtain some kind of clue, and that's, like, your indication that you've cleared it. As Kana sits absent-mindedly and alone in the parlor, Rio speaks to him. Right. There's something I want to ask you, Kano. Me? What is it? Oh, nothing major. Remember how Miss Kana appeared on the stage yesterday? It's about that. Did you help her by using your trolley, Kano? Oh, you mean that. I'm surprised you figured that out. Miss Kana said she wanted to throw a little surprise, and I agreed to help. So that's what happened. Seeing our theory was correct is a relief. But I'm impressed. I thought Miss Tomizawa was the only one who cracked the secret of the trick. I thought it was natural, since she was a mystery author too. But it's truly impressive to see young ladies like you figure it out too. Oh, nah. It's, it's all in a day's work. This little quirk's just a bit of a perk, clerk. Huh? Well, anyway, so you figured it out. In that case, can you solve the trick behind Miss Kana's disappearance? The trick behind her disappearance? You mean how we found her body in the hollow? No, not that. I mean before that. The way she disappeared from the parlor during the party. Huh? What do you mean? Around the time Miss Kana disappeared, I was looking at the entrance of the parlor the whole time. So I can swear on it by my name when I say Miss Kana did not pass through the exit. And yet she somehow disappeared. Interesting. So she left the parlor some other means. Kana wasn't seen leaving the parlor. So you're saying Miss Kana disappeared from the parlor despite not going through the exit? Exactly. Assuming I wasn't so intoxicated I missed her. I get it. There's a secret tunnel! Rio looks around the parlor. It was decorated from the walls and up to the ceiling. There's nothing that looked like it might hide an exit. There is a window, but it's set pretty high up. Going through there's gonna be hard. But there might be some trick here, like with the revolving door in our guest room. By the way, Rio, I think when we checked yesterday's footage, Miss Kana really did disappear at some point, though I wasn't all that focused on it at the time. Seriously? I can't say for sure. Alright, let's check the footage again. Yes, let's do that. The two hurriedly make to leave the parlor, hurrying back to their room to check the footage. I guess let's check the footage. Rio and Manabe returned to their room and checked the party's footage again. So, Kana disappeared at around 21:30 or so. I'll fast forward to the time. Which, would that be 9:30? Manabe moved the seek bar, fast forwarding the footage up slightly before Kana disappeared. Here, there's Kana, right before she disappeared. It looks like she's making sure no one's looking in her direction. She is, though now she's out of frame. Doesn't look like she's heading for the exit. And that's it! Huh? This is where Kana disappeared from the parlor. Which means, maybe there was another exit? I suppose. This room has a secret door, and the elevator from the first day. This house has a lot of secret tricks to it. Between this room's secret door and the elevator Miss Kana showed us on our first day here, This house has a lot of strange tricks. She prepared such a surprise just to make her entrance to the party. I wouldn't put it past Miss Kana to set up gimmicks like that in her own house. But we really didn't notice. I just thought she left normally. Common sense is our blind spot, I suppose. But this could be our key to solving the case. Right, chances are the culprit knew about this. If they didn't, how could they find Kana after she disappeared? Yes, anyway, let's try to figure out the trick behind the gimmick. Roger that. So does that mean we can go back to the parlor and figure out the gimmick? Speaking of, where are you staying, Kano? I didn't see your name on any guest rooms. Oh, me? Last night I was going to drive back home with my car, but with everything that happened, I ended up spending the night here. Wait, so... I spread out a cardboard box on the kitchen floor and wrapped myself up in a blanket. I did borrow the shower in the manager's room. That sounds awful. Man, when you forget to give out blankets at the sleepover and then they're just, the dude's like using a door, like sleeping under the couch. Oh man, they forgot my man's blanket. I figured we were allowed to go see the gimmick. All right, let's just go to the next thing. They arrived at Shiho Tomizawa's room. Ryo finds her sitting in her room, sitting in deep contemplation. You need something? Oh, I just wanted to ask you of your thoughts about Miss Kana's death. It saddens me. We were always close. I felt that I often took care of that one as she grew into an author. I see. Except, with this, Kana's property goes to Sochi. Huh? Here they have no other relatives. And I'm sorry about what happened at the parlor earlier. I said things that made everyone anxious and agitated. I don't know what came over me. Not at all. Everyone was on edge as it was. For good reason. Yes, that's quite right. I was quite confused and angry as well. It's all clear now, after I've taken some quiet time to think things over. What do you mean? Sochi did it. None of the people at the party had the time to go to the Hollow and kill Kana. Are you sure about that? A round trip to the Hollow where we found her body would take 40 minutes, and none of the people in the party were gone for that long. I guess that's a mystery author for you, so she noticed that too. What people don't notice is that what I've noticed throughout the game is that most people have been killed by contraptions. So the actual killer has never been in the area of death. Obviously, well, I was going to say technically minus Seo and Kosaku, because obviously Kosaku just died because he had a seizure behind the wheel. And then Seo, I mean, he killed himself, but technically he was driven to it, so it was like assisted homicide or whatever you want to call it. So in that case, yeah, like Kuramochi wasn't present when Seo, hung himself. But all the other cases, it's like they were killed by some kind of contraption, and I don't think this could be any different. So I don't think anyone needs to be near the Hollow for her to die. They could have like set up a dynamite trap or something, or I don't know, like, because it looked like she was like crushed by. Well, that's true. I would have probably examined that if that happened, but I don't know. It looked like she was like under like some rubble, as if she was almost like crushed. I don't know. We'll see. Well, again, there's probably not enough clues, but she could very well have been killed by some kind of contraption. Yes, the footage I took proves that. Right. In other words, everyone that was in the party has an alibi, and Sochi had the inheritance matter as a motive, and no alibi since he wasn't at the party with us. No one but him could have killed Kana. But that's not enough to say Sochi's the killer for sure. What? Are you siding with him? He has the inheritance as a motive, and no alibi for the crime. No, it's all just circumstantial evidence. You can't just pin the blame on Sochi with that. That'd be awful. I see. Then let me tell you this then. I have no more proof that he's the killer. Proof? Proof? When we gathered in the parlor after we found Kana's body, I saw it. There was something that looked like red blood on his sleeve. I feel like you're just making shit up now. But if it's giving me a clue, then it must be true. It's probably just like apple juice or something. Or wine. It was probably just wine or something. Huh? Blood? Yes, it must have splattered on him when he killed Kana. He tried to hide it, but I happened to see it when he was heading back to his room. And? I grabbed his arm and asked him what was the meaning of it, and he just shook my hand off and ran. I went after him, but he shut himself in his room he still refuses to leave. See, it's like my mistake. It's like he admitted being a killer. Excuse me. Blood, huh? Kana was choked to death, but there were bloody scratches marks on her throat. If Sochi really is the killer, it makes sense that his sleeve would be dirty with blood. But... well, I'm trying to see it. Because she had the blood came from her fingertips. That's where the blood was. So yeah, she could have got it all over, like maybe she was gripping the rope or whatever that was used to strangle her, and it could have got there and then could have gotten on the killer if they weren't wearing gloves or anything, or she was trying to like struggle with whoever was strangling her from behind. I think what originally caused her bloody fingers was that she was probably being dragged away and she scratched up the tree, because remember the tree had scratch marks. I think she just like tried to dig her nails into the tree and it, she just hurt herself doing that way. I think that's where the blood came from, her fingertips. Because obviously if the killer just strangled her, then there would be no blood. You know what I mean? Like, why would you stab her and leave blood as evidence and the potential to get blood on you and be pinned as the killer? It's too messy. Like, it's better to just keep strangling. But because she... and who knows? Maybe Kana in the moment was thinking like, oh shit, this is a way to... instead of like, not only to try and like stop being the killer from dragging her away or something, but also maybe to like, oh, if I get my blood on this person, maybe they'll, I don't know. I'm probably overstepping my boundary on that one, but we don't know. We don't know true intentions. Okay. I mean, should we just keep going? I guess. I mean, I assume we're done with Tomizawa, because we got literally 2 clues from her. So, but I don't know. I think some of it's just BS. She saw like wine on Sochi's sleeve, and she was like, "It was blood, blood! I tell you, he did it." Ryo finds Ezuno pacing nervously in his room. Yes. Oh, I just wanted to ask if you know anything about Miss Kana's passing. Do I know something? Well, I know my upcoming publishing schedule is ruined. What about the book? My schedule is a mess as it is. I need to hold an emergency meeting as soon as I get back. How do I break the news? Who even did this? We have to clarify that or we won't be able to leave. Calm down. Be quiet. Just get out of here. But... Ryo, he's got no point. There's no point right now. Let's just go. Ryo follows Manabe's advice and leaves the room. I guess we can try Sochi's room, right? I'm sure he's not going to let us in, but... This is Sochi's... Jesus Christ. I'm having a brand name beverage and it's really making me gaseous. This is Sochi's room, but the door is locked and there's no reply when they knock. Sochi, we need to talk to you about last night. Maybe he's pretending to be out. After the whole incident happened, the police forbid everyone from leaving the Capricious Hall after all. Sochi, please let us talk to you. Rio calls him a few more times, but no response comes. Phew, I guess he's a bona fide shut-in. Well, he can't refuse questioning, and pretending he's out won't work with the police. Yeah, well, for now, let's leave him to the police, I guess. Alright. Guess the entrance? They head for the entrance, where they find an officer standing guard. Currently, everyone in the Capricious Hall aren't allowed to leave. Please refrain from leaving until the questioning is over. We're not going that far. Or, well, we just want to talk to Inspector Manba. To the inspector? We're acquainted with him. We've assisted him in an investigation before. Please wait one moment. The officer pulls out a transceiver and exchanges a few words. Eventually, the inspector seems to have confirmed their story as the officer puts away the transceiver and soften his expression. The inspector gave his permission, so allow me to escort you to the hollow. The inspector is currently checking the scene where the body was discovered. Understood. Thank you. Couple of civvies got the police escort, baby. Let's go. The officer escorted them, partially to monitor them, as the two made their way to the hollow. Hey, you two. Didn't expect you to run in on another crime scene. I feel the same way, but we do feel safer with you here, Inspector Manba. Well, glad to hear it. So you said you wanted to speak to me? Yes, actually, we had a camera rolling during the entire party. It should help with establishing alibis for everyone in the parlor. Oh, really? That's a huge help. If you could supply that data now. Not so fast. We have a condition. A condition? What exactly? It's simple, really. Earlier, when you explained the cause of death, you said it was suffocation. Could you explain why you said that? Why I said it? Well, I think it's clear. When we found the body last night, I saw rope marks on the victim's neck. The cause of death should be strangulation, right? Well, you two are still suspects, so I probably shouldn't be speaking to you about this. We're willing to share important footage data. This will prove we're on your side, Manba. Yes, we did crack a case together. Alright then. Yes, there were definitely rope marks, but the autopsy report posits. The autopsy report posits they were inflicted on the victim post-mortem. Post-mortem? Correct. We found some rope that was likely used in the process lying nearby. Its thickness matches the marks, so there's no doubting it. In other words, the victim was suffocated in some manner, and then propped up to make it seem like they were strangled. Which means they left the rope here to mask the murder method. In other words, there's a chance the crime wasn't committed here. Yes, however, that's the hard part. No one left the estate until you went out to search for her. If nothing else, no one went... dude, it's a contraption again. Like, man, there's gonna be some kind of contraption again. It's gonna be some fucking Scooby-Doo shit where she walked over, like, a rope, and then it's like the counterweight like dropped, and then the rope like went up like through her body and then caught her neck, and then she like woo, and then she got like hung by her neck or whatever, or some crazy shit. It's gonna be some like Scooby-Doo contraption or something. Like Zoink Scoob, those civilians were unarmed. If nothing else, no one went outside since the party started, and until you all went out and searched for her. Well, how can you say that for sure? The estate is contracted with security... Is contracted the word to use there? I guess. The estate is contracted with security with a security I thought it said security cameras. With a security company. When the doors leading outside open, it leaves a record, and there's no record for last night. Of course, the security cameras also confirmed that no one left. It's impossible for someone to commit the murder indoors, then carry the body over there. Even if this is a crime scene, how did the victim get there? through a secret tunnel that wasn't probably on the camera footage. It's like she was teleported here. I can't deny that thought crossed my mind. It's actually I'd actually like to ask you two. When you went out to look for Miss Kana, was it possible for someone to carry the corpse over somehow? No, it's impossible. We went outside together, so we'd have noticed if someone did that. Yeah, no one was carrying anything but a flashlight. Which just leaves the possibility of some secret path. There's definitely some strange tricks to the interior of this state. Maybe there's a passage leading outside. If they were so cautious of a burglary that they hired a security company, not telling them about this passage strikes me as pretty careless. It would come across as weird. Who would expect a passage leading outside? Now then, I should be getting back to the investigation. Is that all you wanted to ask? Yes, that should be everything. What about the footage? Are we going to show him the footage? We're sorry for taking your time. We'll leave the footage data with the officers. Yes, please do. Rio and Manabe part ways with Mamba and return to the estate. Having finished their investigation, Rio and Manabe return to their room. Let's take a shower, wash off all this sweat, and try to figure this thing out one more time. Say, what do you think about Miss Kana's death? Wait, is that everything? I feel like we're missing like a shitload. There's got to be like a secret tunnel clue that we're gonna get, right? Well, I'm sad, of course. I would have loved to read more of her novels, and I would have loved for you to act in an adaptation of her books, and then show it to Miss Kana. Manabe. Manabe closes her eyes quietly, but then opens them again, as if having come to a conclusion. I can't believe some passing by murderer did this. It's only natural to assume someone who was in the Capricious Hall yesterday did this. And that means that, like Tomizawa said, the most suspicious person is Sochi. He had no alibi, and does have a motive. And there was a matter of the blood on his arm. We'll have to talk to Sochi somehow and ask him about it. You're right. But how do we get into his room? Don't you feel like we still don't know too many things? Huh? About the estate and Sochi. I think we need to investigate this a little more deeply. Remember what Kano said? He doesn't recall seeing her leave the parlor. This might be related to how Kana got carried to the hollow. True, there's still a lot of questions floating around this incident. Answering them one by one might be our key to solving this mystery. Yeah, let's investigate how Kana left the parlor again. There should be a clue somewhere in the parlor. That's right. Let's head for the parlor. This is where we're going to discover the secret tunnel! They were likely in the middle of questioning Kano because when Rio and Manabe arrived at the parlor, they find it silent and empty. Now then, since there's no sign of Kana leaving through the exit, there should be another way out of this room somewhere around here. Judging by the small room trick we saw in our room, this isn't going to be simple to solve. Yeah, time to use the old noggin. My first instinct would be the wall, because it seemed like this is where she... Oh. Okay, at the very end, the right-hand side of the hall is an open door, leading to a small room. Is this a cloakroom? Looks like it, but it's a bit small. A cloakroom was a space for storing clothes. It was likely built along with the stage, to be used by whoever's performing on it. Peeking in the open door, Rio finds it doesn't seem to lead to a staircase or anything of the sort. I guess you wouldn't usually put an emergency staircase in a cloakroom. Maybe the stage? I thought there might be a backstage basement somewhere. There isn't anything though. It's just a normal small stage. That window. I might reach it if you let me ride on your shoulders. But I won't. You gain weight again. Did not! But it's not realistic to think she got out this way. Someone would notice. Like how they like jump scare you there for a second. What the hell, Rio? Okay, no, it has to be the cloakroom. It has to be the cloakroom. There's no freaking way. I refuse to believe that this isn't the secret entrance. This has got to be the entrance to the Chamber of Secrets, okay? Got to speak parcel tongue to the cloakroom. I should check inside anyway, just to be on the safe side. The two step through the open door and go inside. Upon pulling the curtain open, they find nothing but a hanger hanging at the height of one's head. Nobody used this place last night, right? Well, it's summer, and it was a casual party, so nobody came with cloaks or a coat. Makes sense, but the cloakroom is extremely cramped, so much so that it felt narrow with two of them inside. Cramped space, empty hanger, and it's totally dark, with no light. The situation gave her an odd sense of deja vu. Deja vu! I just been in this place before. Higher on the street, and I know it's my time to go. Calling you. It felt like she had been somewhere like this before. Wait, the blindfolds. When we were blindfolded and taken to the secret tunnel. Where was it again? What's wrong? I felt like I was going to remember something, but it just won't come out. At times like this, close your eyes and take a deep breath. Try thinking back on what happened last night. Right, let me try. Rio closes her eyes and sharpens her senses, need to trace back the thread of her memory. I pass through a cramped space, then bump into something soft, and then... Hey, if you do it there, I can't get out. Oh, right, sorry. Rio moves aside with her eyes closed, and then she feels her shoulder bump against something. What was that? You just bumped against a coat hanger. Oh, the hanger? Wait, the hanger! Rio's eyes open with surprise. Was this what I bumped into back then? Oh, dang, so what? It could have been a coat hanging from... I did say there was a body. It was something hanging, so I was like, it could have been a body, but I guess it was just a hanger. But I guess you could put a coat on there to make it feel like you're bumping into someone hanging from the rack. Rio, what's wrong? If it is... Rio pushes past Monabe and heads for the back wall, and then rolls up the velvet furnishing it as hard as she could, and beneath it she reveals what is clearly an elevator door. I did it! I found it! This is... Monabe, do you remember the first time we were here? Miss Kana was showing us around the Capricious Hall. Right, but... Do you remember? She blindfolded us and took us to the 3rd floor. I was blindfolded back then, but I heard myself bumping into something, and it sounded exactly like this coat hanger. Now that you mention it, it does make sense. Your intuition is surprisingly sharp in the most useless ways. But if there's an elevator here, this might have been how Miss Kana left the party. Right, she probably snuck in here when no one was looking and used the elevator. Right, but where did she go? That's what we need to check. The two squat as they cross through the low door and quickly enter the elevator. Huh? What's wrong, Rio? One of the elevator's button just says B. What do you think it means? B for bottomless pit. They just click it. Woo! From top to bottom, the elevator buttons show 1, 3, and B. Judging from how they're positioned, it probably means basement. So there's a basement? We need to check it out. Yes, I'm curious about the 3rd floor, but we should probably check the basement first. We were never down there. We might discover something new. Right. We can go to the 3rd floor later. After operating the elevator's panel, they easily reach the basement level. It looks kind of like the 3rd floor, just without the Michelangelo. They find themselves in a cold space. There are no windows, though that was to be expected, since they were underground. It's a good thing there were lights on, but this place is kind of creepy. Anyway, there are a few rooms here. Let's check them out. I don't like how, spooky the music got. Is that his like secret room? Okay, anyway, let's start with the laboratory. The laboratory. Is this where they make meth? Oh my god, does Kana make meth? Someone cooked here. They find a room with a plate that said vacuum laboratory on the door. Vacuum laboratory? I think you can drain the air from this room. Huh? Isn't that, like, dangerous? Very. If you create a vacuum in a room while someone's inside, they'll definitely die. And where there's a vacuum, you can't open the door from the outside because of the air pressure. That's crazy dangerous. Why is there some kind of room like this here? I don't know. Maybe she experimented with it for a trick she used in one of her novels. Making a whole room just for that? That's pretty excessive. The room falls silent again, and the vacuum equipment doesn't seem to be operating. Still, the two of them look inside timidly. Wait, you know, the fact that they have, like, this lab and shit, I'm starting to think that Kana isn't really, like, innocent. Like, Kana and Sochi may be in, like, some cahoots plan to, like, kill people. This is, like, some kind of, like, Sweeney Todd shit. Like, minus the barber. I don't know. They just... Like, why do you need this room? What is this here for? Like, oh, geez, a room where you can suck out all the air. A large room where you can suck out all the air in a vacuum and kill someone. It's like the fucking gas chamber. Like, what the hell? Rooms like this usually have an emergency stop button. There, see? It has one. Okay, alright, at least there's a stop button. What the hell is this room for? Next to the door is a red button with the text emergency stop written next to it. You're right. Huh. What? The switch looks broken. Oh my god. I need to stop drinking my Baja Blast. Rio tries to push the button a few times, but it doesn't budge. It's a fake button. It's a fake way to get out. She locks you in the room, she starts the vacuum, and then you try to emergency stop, but it's of little hope. It's like she likes to play with her victims and see the light leave their eyes as they're desperately trying to get out. It looks like the button's broken because someone applied force to it in the wrong direction. Wait. Oh my god, she was killed with suffocation! Oh my god! Why did I just put that together? She was killed, she suffocated to death. She was the one that was probably thrown in this room. Oh my god! But why the fuck do you have this room to begin with, woman? A vacuum laboratory with an emergency stop button that doesn't work. If anything were to happen inside, there'd be no stopping it. And you wouldn't know this button is out of order until you touched it. Hey, do you think maybe Miss Kana... It's possible she suffocated to death in there. Yes, we probably shouldn't touch anything else. The police will want to investigate this place later. Right. The two naturally tiptoe out, leaving the room silently. Tiptoeing in my Jordans. Upon opening the door, Rio and Manabe are greeted by a sight of bookshelves packed with books. Oh man, I would have never guessed this was a second library with all these books packed on bookshelves. Whoa, look at all those books! This is probably Miss Kana's reference room. Oh, there's a pneumatic system set up here too, right? Right, so she sent materials from her studies to here. There's an intercom next to it, so she probably used it to specify what materials she wanted sent up. That's convenient, but I get the feeling that she didn't really need to set something up like this. That's just Miss Kana's playful nature. Well, can't judge a person for having a hobby, I guess. Oh. Huh. So he's a painter? As they enter the room, the countless portraits lining the walls draw their attention. Oh, I think they did say he was a painter. I just forgot my details. They did say he was a painter. Especially with that beret on his head. Bonjour, traveler! Wow, So many pretty paintings. This must be a studio. There are painting materials scattered across the walls and floor. It's clear someone is in the process of drawing something here. There's a lot of used paint, spray ink, chisels, and palettes. Palettes. Why do I say it like that? Palettes. Monobre, are you okay? Palettes. They're all very well maintained. Someone's definitely been using this room recently. Oh, gee, I wonder. The one fucking guy who's also, like, a relative of the estate who's a painter. Jeez. The room literally says it's Sochi's. Well, then again, it probably doesn't say anywhere for the characters. But for us, we literally saw it was titled Sochi's, so... Someone cooked here. Someone's definitely been using this room recently. Rio looks at the room's center. A single painting stands there, propped up with a wooden stand. Hey, look at this. This is... Drawn on the canvas is an image of a woman smiling, with a building in the background. There are some blank spots on the portrait, so it's likely still in the process of being drawn. Isn't this woman in the middle Miss Kana? That's definitely her. And the building behind her, it's still only half drawn, but... Yeah, it can't be anywhere but the Capricious Hall. You can't mistake the silhouettes. Huh, the paint around the Capricious Hall's drawing is moist compared to the rest of the painting. Rio rubs the spot gently, only to have a bit of scarlet paint cling to her hand. I knew it. And that must be the red on his sleeve, so it wasn't blood, it was red paint. I knew it. Someone drew the painting just recently. I don't think it was Miss Kana who drew the painting. Yeah, I can't imagine she'd draw herself with a building on the backdrop. It was probably Sochi who drew this. Miss Kana did say he was an artist, which means he knew about the elevator and can go to the basement too. And explains again the red paint on his sleeve. It's probably just red paint. Especially because it just literally, the fact that like, oh, scarlet paint just came off on Rio. Gotta believe it was red paint on his sleeve. So he was just down here cooking, you know what I'm saying? Someone cooked here. Phew, I didn't imagine we'd find someplace like this in the basement. I mean, of all the rooms all the rooms are really weird, and we didn't find any passage leading outside. Right, even if she snuck out of the party through here, she didn't have a way out of the estate. Right, except we did discover the vacuum laboratory. The big one, and one more big piece of information. A big piece of information? Yep, for now, let's go back. With a bit of information, we should be able to talk. Huh? Wait, what do you mean talk? Hey, Rio! Rio didn't answer Manabe's question, simply pulling her by the arm back to the elevator.